Hey guys, Jessica here. This is week 3 of my video blog. Um, well, just to start things off, my weight is exactly the same as it was last week. That's 304.7, which is actually fine. Um, these last couple of weeks I've been having some trouble with weight gain as opposed to weight loss. Now, like I said last week, I did up my protein intake, and I've been doing a lot of different types of exercises. This includes cardio, some weightlifting, some toning and core work. So I've been trying to do kind of a wide variety of stuff, and part of the reason why is because when you do the same thing over and over again, your body kind of gets used to the repetition and it doesn't feel like it's being challenged much anymore. And I've actually always, done a lot of elliptical work, so my body's kind of used to the elliptical. So I need to kind of keep it, have a lot of variations in how I'm doing that. So what I tend to do generally with my exercises is, I'll do like half an hour on elliptical, and then I'll, do 20 minutes on a treadmill, and then I'll go swimming or, weights or something like that. So, um, I'm not going to get too down about the lack of change in weight. Actually, it's probably better than it was a few days ago because I'd weighed myself not too long after working out, and it said that I had gained 5 pounds, and so I was really freaking out about that. And then I did some research on it, and so I just quickly wanted to point out that a lot of times when you work out really hard and your muscles have been overworked, they tend to retain water in the first, however long. They say 24 to 48 hours, but you can retain water up to 2 weeks when you first start a workout regimen. And I believe this is probably the case. And then, of course, if you're, a woman, then about the week before to the week during of your period, you tend to retain water as well. And to be honest, I'm not really worried about getting pregnant, so I don't put a whole lot of thought into when that particular thing is going to occur. But anyway, so what it boils down to is that although my weight has not gone down, um, I can at least be proud of some of the changes that have taken place. My goals over the last couple of weeks, specifically this last week, was to cut down on my carbs. Not only cut down on my carbs, but taper off throughout the day and change the ways in which I'm eating them. So basically, I get most of my carbs in the early part of the day, and then I taper off, and then dinner is like no carbs. I've managed to stick to that probably 5 of the 7 days. July 3rd and July 4th were kind of rough because July 3rd was my birthday, and so we had this big feast. And then July 4th, of course, was Independence Day, and so we barbecued, and there's some really, really good things there, and it's really difficult for me to avoid them. Um, and then, but overall, I've done really well this week. The week before, my goal was to get into the gym, or not even necessarily get in the gym, because as you can see, I have an elliptical here that I use as well when I can't get to the gym where I work at. But anyway, to exercise every day and to put in a minimum of half an hour. Now, that averages out to about 3.5 hours in a week's time, and I exceeded that. I think I did like 4.5 hours last week, and this week I've already done 4.5 hours, and it's only Friday. And so most days I get in a minimum of an hour to an hour and a half. And it's going really well, and my body is starting to get kind of accustomed to the idea of working out regularly, and so it feels really good. And my husband James made a comment about being able to feel my ribs, and basically, hopefully being able to bounce a quarter off my butt soon. So, with all the work that I've been doing, I wouldn't be surprised. So, I'm actually really excited about the rib thing. Although I haven't actually seen my weight go down, and I haven't noticed for myself, um, the changes, the body changes. There are some other people who've made some comments, about how I move and just how I look overall. So that's a good sign. My goals for next week are pretty much more of the same. Uh, as far as, tapering off with the carbs, and then also just exercising every day. Um, Instead of really adding on much more for this next week, I wanted to just focus in on that because the idea here is to solidify these good habits. So that's my plan. I do attend one core class every week, and so this next week, I think the one goal that I'm going to sort of add on is to add on another class, and I think I'm going to try the Zumba class. Um, Today, I just wanted to kind of discuss a couple of diet issues that I think a lot of us have. And I mean that sort of in a broad sense. I have a question for you guys. What do you find derails healthy eating for you? Like, what is your one weakness? I actually have two, and they're both kind of your obvious not healthy things for you. Um, the first one is sugar. I love sugar. I have a sweet tooth, and I'm really that takes a lot for me to avoid the sweets. So I've been trying to just kind of keep fruit around the house, and I find that I'm actually pretty happy if I can have like a salad with some chicken breast and some almonds and some berries, and some spinach and a vinaigrette. Like that's awesome. It's almost like dessert. But yeah, I really do have a sweet tooth, and sometimes it's kind of hard to avoid the sweets. So I'm just trying to get into the habit of either avoiding them, or if I want to eat them, then I'm going to work it off. So my next is cheese. I really like cheese, and I'm actually lactose intolerant. I don't even drink milk at all. I drink almond milk as a substitute, and almond milk's great. It doesn't have that weird chalky flavor that soy milk has, and I don't like rice milk very much either. But almond milk is high in protein, which is nice, and then they fortify it with calcium. So, and milk kind of grosses me out anyway because it came from the breast of another species. It's kind of weird. But I have a hard time making the same association with cheese because cheese is delicious. Um, and it's also uber fattening. Okay, and if you've ever tried fat-free cheese, it's gross. Don't. Um, but the thing is that lactose intolerance is actually very common. Statistics show that over half of the human population is actually lactose intolerant. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, I take these little pills, and then I'm fine." Well, that's really not true. Your body is rejecting this thing that you're putting in your body. It's almost like a drug. It causes weight gain, flatulence, just overall bloating, and then you have erratic digestive activity, and it's really really not really much of a healthy thing. Now I'm not gonna try to be preachy and be like it's don't eat cow milk or whatever. I mean, I would love to tell everybody that. There are so many alternatives out there that are super good. Almond cheese is pretty close to the original. I highly recommend it. It's very close to real cheese, not like soy cheese. I like soy, but in the form of tofu or soybeans. I don't like it in milk or cheese. It's not very good. But anyway, the point is that people a lot of times will say, "Oh well, I'm gonna have yogurts." You know, Yogurt, and I know that a lot of times when you're watching like the Dannon and the Yoplait commercials, they're advertised as this healthy thing. You really need to watch out for that. It's not that yogurt can't be healthy, it's just that those particular brands I wouldn't trust. First of all, they're full of artificial sweeteners, even the ones that are supposed to be lower sugar, they have aspartame in them, or Splenda, which I think is I want to say a sucralose base. Either way, it's still sugar, and sugar may not have any fat in it, but your body will convert it into fat. You don't believe me? Look it up. Um, so then you have to kind of say, all right, well, if you're going to get sugar, is there a way that you can get sugar that's a little bit healthy for you? There is. You can use honey. You can use pure maple syrup. I mean, it's still sugar. It's still, possibly going to convert into fat in your body, but these natural sources are unrefined. They don't have any additives in them. And the problem with a lot of yogurts is they are so full of sugar. Um, they sort of they're almost like a double-edged sword. Yeah, you're saying, okay, well, I get all these probiotics and whatnots from the yogurt, but after you've consumed the amount of sugar that's in some of those things, the whole thing was pointless. You're really better off if you're gonna do yogurt. Just get some plain yogurt, throw some berries on it, and a little bit of honey to sweeten it up, and it's just as good. I swear by it. But I use soy or coconut-based yogurts, which are actually surprisingly good. Just because of the lactose intolerance thing. As much as I love cheese, I really have to avoid it. So I have to choose very wisely when I consume any of that stuff, and basically more or less treat it like a dessert. Because it is fattening, and really there's no way around it. Like, lactose dairy stuff is really not very good for the human population, and it's not that we necessarily need to completely abandon it. I mean, maybe in an ideal world that'd be great, but in the real world, people are going to eat cheese, they're going to drink milk, they're going to eat ice cream, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it. I love ice cream, but we need to at least look at it and say, okay, we know these things are not healthy for us, so what we're going to do is we're going to maybe cut down on them. I've found that by doing that, by cutting out the cheese altogether, has really helped me. I don't feel tired. I don't feel bloated. I feel like my body is getting into this normal pattern. And I feel so much healthier. And it's just because of just saying, nope, no cheese, no dairy, no nothing. So if I need to have ice cream or something, I can find something that's coconut or almond based. That's super good. I highly recommend the what do they call it? It's a chocolate peanut butter, and I think it's mostly soy based. It's like a soy coconut based ice cream, and it's completely vegan. But you would never know. It is so good, super good. And then it doesn't make me feel sick afterwards. But even that, calories are still calories. You still gotta watch out for that. So, um, anyway, that's about it. Just that last question. I'd like some feedback from you guys on, what is it that derails your healthy habits. And then also, one last question for those of you who are tech savvy. I'm really not. I have this webcam here, and it does have a slight bit of delay, which you guys have probably noticed. I can't talk as fast on this thing, or I shouldn't talk as fast on this thing as I do normally. Um, so I'm actually considering purchasing a webcam, a new one that is better quality. So for those of you who are tech savvy, I would like any recommendations that you guys can offer on webcams that are a little bit better for my needs. I don't want anything fancy. It doesn't have to be super fancy. I just want it to be a better quality video overall. So that's the idea. All right. Well, that is it for this week, and I will see you guys next week.